face twisted into rage.
You're just like them. They said he was gone, but I can still feel him.
Her breathing was getting rapid, and I feared she might do something hurtful, so I didn't push it further. I told myself it was the grief talks, that it would pass, that sleep would help. I was wrong. That night, I woke up to an empty bed. Madison's creepy lullaby was echoing all around the house. I followed her voice and found her in the nursery. She was patting Labubu like she was putting a baby to sleep. She even rocked it in her arms while continuing the lullabies. The atmosphere dropped down as I felt a cold shiver in my spine. The next day, things got out of hand. I could hear Madison talking to the Labubu in a hushed tone, like she didn't want me to hear her.
You don't have to cry. Daddy will hold you soon. I promise.
Daddy? I'm no daddy to some creepy-ass toy. I tried to stop the madness. I tried to take it away from her. Maddie, give me the toy. The second I reached for it, she screamed. She scratched my face and we knocked over the crib in the process. Her gaze changed immediately. She pointed at me, going full psychotic, and yelled,
"You're trying to kill him again!"
I backed away in shock. I should have called someone. I know that now. However, a part of me still believed that I could resolve the situation. So I waited for the night to fall. She calmed down by late afternoon. We didn't speak much. She sat in the rocking chair with the toy wrapped in the baby blanket, humming something under her breath. By 10 p.m., I was exhausted. I lay down and eventually drifted off. When I opened my eyes again, I couldn't move. My wrists and ankles were tied to the bed frame with strips of baby clothes, and Madison was standing right next to me holding a scalpel. I'd kept it in the emergency baby kit for cutting tags, medical tape, things like that. I'd forgotten it even existed. She leaned down and placed the Labubu on my chest. It sat there, tiny and motionless, staring up at me with those wide red eyes and razor teeth.
What kind of dad are you? Your son has been crying for you all night.
Madison, please! Her hands trembled as she raised the scalpel.
I'll untie you if you kiss him.
I saw one small window of opportunity and took it. I agreed. Madison smiled big once I said yes to her madness. She set me free, and together we sat on the floor rocking and kissing the Labubu like it was our child. I watched her laugh, cry, and then laugh again. It was terrifying and painful at the same time. I made no wrong move until she got up, saying she needed to put our son in bed. The moment she left the room, I called the paramedics. I watched them take away my wife for psychiatric evaluation. She became frantic after being separated from the toy in the hospital. They had to sedate her because she was kicking and biting everyone who came near her. After extensive consultations, the doctors suggested taking her to a mental facility in Florida because her violent behavior was increasing rapidly. It's been 2 weeks. She's still at the facility. I visit her every week, but she rarely acknowledges me. The doctors say she's detached from reality, believes the toy is the baby we lost. They gave me her things in a cardboard box. I haven't opened it yet, but I know what's inside, that twisted little toy. Every night, I swear I hear something scratching inside the closet, but maybe that's just in my head. Happened last Saturday. I had just finished my first 2 weeks of college, and my roommate Liv was determined to drag me to my first frat party. I didn't want to go. I barely knew anyone on campus, and the idea of being surrounded by drunk strangers didn't exactly thrill me. But Liv had a way of convincing people. By 9:00 p.m., I was standing outside the Alpha Beta frat house, wearing one of her tops, trying not to look completely out of place. The party was loud and chaotic and smelled like spilled beer and sweat. Music blasted from massive speakers in the backyard. People were dancing, laughing, and playing beer pong. I stood near the edge of the crowd, clutching a warm solo cup of jungle juice, pretending to text someone, when I saw this guy sitting alone from the crowd. He was dressed in a green hoodie with hands in his lap and dangling his feet in the pool. While everyone else was trying to show off or hook up, he just sat there, watching. I don't know what compelled me to walk over. Maybe it was boredom. Maybe it was curiosity.
Mind if I sit here?
He nodded. Sure. He said his name was Mason. He was an art major and said he didn't really like parties, but came for the energy. There was something about him, calm yet uncomfortable. We talked about movies, tattoos, and the absurdity of frat life. He wasn't like the other guys here, so I let my guard down. And that was a huge mistake. Midway through our conversation, he rolled up the sleeve of his hoodie. "Check this out," he said. It was a tattoo on his forearm, a creature, big round eyes, sharp teeth, tiny ears. It looked like a demonic rabbit, cartoonish but disturbing. "This is Labubu," he said, touching the ink gently. "I collect them, every version. We're kind of like soulmates." I tried laughing, thinking he was joking, but soon realized he was being dead serious.
Oh, aren't those like creepy kid toys?
He still didn't laugh. "They're misunderstood. People make fun of them just to act cool." I gave an awkward chuckle and stood up.
Anyway, I should find Liv.
His eyes followed me as I walked away, but he didn't say anything. By midnight, the party was dying down. Liv had disappeared with some guy, and I didn't feel like waiting around. My dorm was only a 10-minute walk, and I figured I'd be fine. I put in one earbud and started heading back. It was a quiet night, empty sidewalks, soft breeze, no traffic. I remember thinking how peaceful it was. In that moment, I told myself that college might turn out to be fun. But all of a sudden, I began feeling nervous. I stopped the music and heard footsteps. Someone was walking behind me. At first, I didn't think much of it. Probably just another student heading home. But the steps didn't fade. Instead, they matched mine. When I slowed, they slowed. When I stopped, they stopped as well. I turned around. Under a streetlight, maybe 20 feet back, stood Mason. He was wearing the same hoodie. His arms were stiff at his sides. His head was slightly tilted. I blinked.
Mason?
He didn't speak a word, just smiled. Something about his smile made me fear for my life. He then jerked his left shoulder twice and started chanting something. It took me a moment to hear exactly what he was saying. I listened carefully and heard him saying, "Labubu." He spoke like a toddler who just learned to talk. "Labubu." My stomach dropped.
What do you want?
I screamed while stepping back in caution. His footsteps picked up behind me. "You made Labubu sad," he called out. I didn't waste a second more. I turned and started sprinting. I could hear him chasing me. His steps weren't even footsteps anymore. They were loud, heavy thuds, like someone running unevenly or low to the ground. He was screaming that I offended him by insulting his soulmate. My dorm was a block away. I ran across the lawn, fumbling with my keycard. I slammed on the door and swiped my keycard. At the first try, the reader flashed red. Mason was inches away. With shaking hands, I swiped again, and finally, it turned green. I yanked the door open and slammed it behind me, locking it just as his footsteps reached the pavement. He was standing right outside. I could see him through the glass on the door. His breathing was heavy and ragged. His face was blank, but his eyes looked evil. He leaned close to the door and whispered, "You made Labubu sad. You shouldn't have." I backed away, heart thudding. I grabbed my phone and called campus security. They arrived 10 minutes later, but Mason had left by then. I complained to the authority who checked on him, but that freak lied to their face, saying he never even met me. Since there was no evidence, no actions were taken against him. I thought maybe that would be the end of it. The next day at around 3 a.m. in the morning, I heard something slide across the floor. I sat up. There was an envelope on the ground, Someone had pushed it under my